Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. I'm joined by the lovely Hilary Abbot, who is the founder of Lux Life Nutrition. I had the pleasure of jumping on a call with Hilary several months ago now. And for me, nutrition and the whole area fascinates me. So to actually meet an expert, and believe me, Hilary is an absolute expert. I think with many fields, there are people who claim to be experts, and then you realize when you delve in that that's not the case. It's a thrill to be on the call with Hilary. Hilary knows her stuff and has been cook for celebrities, and she's a fantastic cook. What there isn't to know about food isn't worth knowing if Hilary doesn't know it. And that's a terrible phrase, but what I'm saying is Hilary knows her stuff. So lovely to see you today, Hilary. Hope you're well.
Nice to see you too, James. Thank you for the lovely introduction. And yeah, I'm so excited to be here and to have made this connection with you. And yeah, we've just got so much in common with our businesses. And yeah, it's just exciting to kind of meet another like-minded business owner who, you know, ultimately what we want is to help people become healthier and enjoy their lives.
Yeah.
So yeah,
well,
a lot to talk about, a lot in common.
It's great that the Think, Eat, Sleep, Repeat members have posted some questions. I've got a load of questions of my own, which I'm going to want to ask you today. I kind of feel that nutrition is one of those areas that, firstly, it is so important to our health, our longevity, and yet there's so much misinformation. Does it feel like that when, as a nutritionist, that's the case? You kind of know with exercise that, well, you know, if you move more, that's good for you. But with nutrition, there are so many different kind of experts saying, oh, eat protein, all meat, eat all plant, eat, you know. I know your personal take is more plant-based.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell me kind of your origin story? What happened for you to get interested in nutrition?
Yeah, good question. So I'm a culinary trained chef by trade, and I worked in the super yacht industry for many years, probably for about 15 years, I think, as a freelance yacht chef. So I was catering to, you know, the ultra high net worth clients, cooking around the world, having this glamorous life, traveling and chefing, and, you know, going all over the place, which was fun for a long time. Absolutely no regrets with any of that. But in the end, I burnt out. You know, it's long hours, hard work, extremely demanding clients. And I just burnt out of it. You know, it's great when you're 20 something and 30 something, and then you get to 40 and I'm like, it's not really what I want to be doing anymore. And it was impacting my health. I think my physical health and my mental health, and it was just creeping up on me. And it took me a long time to realize that. Basically the job, the work that I was doing, that whole lifestyle wasn't doing me any favors anymore. So when I was at work, I wasn't really taking care of myself very well. You know, I just eat really poorly if I was eating at all. Not really be too conscious about what I was doing. And then when I had time off work, you know, I'd be going to the wellness center and getting a massage and going on a 3-day juice cleanse. I mean, I was like, there was no balance. It was go, work, stress, pressure, not take care of myself, or off work, going like the extreme opposite, I suppose. And so, yeah, I was just, you know, got to the point where I was like, I just need some balance in my life, because I'm either feeling not great or I'm doing the polar opposite. But when I get myself feeling great again, then I'm going right back to it. So it was really important to me after a while to just find that balance in life. And so after I quit the yachting industry, moved back to the UK, and I was still cooking for private clients, high net worth private clients. But what I realized was there was, as much as I was interested in kind of working on my own health and becoming a healthier person, I also had clients asking me to do the same. So historically, I'd been cooking for clients in this, you know, in the field of entertaining, you know, it's fine dining, entertaining, certainly not nutritious cooking at all.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's all about the show, you know.
Okay.
But I had more and more clients just saying to me, you know what, can you just cook us some healthy food? Or like, what do you think we should eat? Or, you know, more and more people saying, well, my wife is diabetic, or I've been told I've got high cholesterol. You know, my husband's had a heart attack, and we've got to look at his diet again. So it was still the same private clients, but I was getting asked more and more to cook in a more healthy and nutritious way, specifically for health conditions that they were telling me that they had. So ultimately, I started getting more and more interested in nutrition. I then went ahead, studied it, qualified, and ultimately, it's just led me here to Lux Life Nutrition. So phased out of chefing and just naturally evolved into the field of nutrition and health coaching. So yeah,
Amazing.
yeah.
So if I know we spoke before we were recording today about disease and how a good diet can improve or eradicate disease. What for you is the shortcut to optimum health? Is there a shortcut? Is it you know what's the fastest thing somebody can do to get to the optimum health via nutrition?
Good question. For me, if I had to say anything to anybody to answer that, it would be just eat real food. It's that simple. For me as a practitioner, it doesn't have to be complicated. I think we've become so disconnected from our food, from what a healthy meal looks like, from what we should eat, because I think we're just overloaded with choices. You know, choices in the supermarkets, like so many options of so many products. And the other thing is, you know, all the noise. There's so much noise, like you said. So many experts telling you so many things, so many diets, people telling you to eat this, eat that, do this, do that. Ultimately, you know, the other thing that I say is like to clients is you really need to do what feels right to you as well. So if you're going to, you know, go on your health and wellness journey, you need to be aligned with whoever or whatever you choose to do. There's many ways to a healthy lifestyle, I believe, many ways. But for me as a nutrition practitioner, it starts with good nutrition and getting that right for the individual.
Would that be what some people call eating clean, or is that separate?
Again, I think the eating clean would be similar, but I feel like again that just became a fad. It was just a buzzword, really. And there's also a lot of a buzzword. I think there's a lot of buzz in the nutrition field, obviously, about, you know, plant-based diets, plant-based food. That's become a massive thing as well. But within that field, even of plant-based eating, you can be a really unhealthy plant-based eater because, again, here we go. There's so many options in the supermarkets. Oh, here you go. Buy this, it's plant-based. Buy this, it's plant-based. But ultimately, it's just processed food without meat. That's all it is. And they are not all created equal. I'll just give you a really quick example, actually. I was at my partner's house the other week and he'd bought these little, I don't remember what brand they were, but these little chocolate caramel dessert pots that were all labeled plant-based, vegan, healthy, blah, blah, blah. He said, I picked these up at the supermarket. Let's try them. And anyway, and I said, you know what, before you open that, just out of interest, can you read the ingredient label? So I read the ingredient label and I was sat there with jaw open because the ingredient label just was an absolute list of horrors. Like several types of processed sugars in there. There was colours, flavours, stabilizers, all of these things that ultimately your body does not recognize as a nutrient. You're just filling it with chemical nonsense that it doesn't know what to do with. It confuses it. But yet here it is on the shelf, health washed. This is a healthy product. Go buy it, eat it. And I think for a lot of people, because we have such a busy life, when all of these products are marketed so cleverly, people don't even look at labels. It's literally, you go to the supermarket, you get your trolley, and you just throw stuff in. And if it says it's healthy on the label, why would you question that? Why would they lie to you?
Yeah.
So knowledge is power. The other thing is knowledge is key. Some mindfulness and knowledge.
I watched some of Robert Lustig's interviews. I've got some of his books. The latest one, I think it's Metabolic or something like that. And again, he talks about the processed food, and obviously is this Chris von Tuliken or Zan von Tuliken's latest book, Unprocessed. And you're absolutely right. I think when you go into a supermarket, you're just bombarded with so much stuff. Where do you go? And you know, it's all in the marketing. You think plant-based must be good. So am I right in thinking you're saying let's just stick to nature, to plants, to vegetables? So I've got to ask the meat question, because again, I've seen the people, you know, Jordan Peterson, I believe, only eats kind of meat and steak. So you have that kind of that swathe of people following that. Why purely plant and not meat? You know, what's your take on that?
So I would say that I focus on a predominantly plant-based nutrition program for people. I'm not saying never eat meat. I'm not saying never eat fish, and I'm not saying never eat dairy. But when clients come to me with various health problems or weight, you know, or they have a serious amount of weight to lose, when I switch them to a predominantly plant-focused diet, it gets them the quickest results, the best results, it gets them feeling better in the fastest way that I can help them.
That's interesting. And obviously we are here for the Think Eat Sleep Repeat members to help them achieve the maximum results in the minimal possible time. That's so interesting. I recently, the last few months, had the pleasure of going to Mallorca and to Croatia. I don't know if you've been to either of those. And something that a few days ago, I thought, I don't see many overweight people. And I looked at the data. I think it's about 10 to 12% of the population in Mallorca, similar in Croatia. Now, what struck me was, you know, why is this the case as opposed to here in the UK? But clearly it isn't about health, because there's a lot more people smoking, certainly in Mallorca. It was kind of quite staggered to see people smoking. And in the incredible heat, it's quite hard to exercise unless you go to an air-conditioned gym. You know, you occasionally saw somebody running out in the street and you think, how the hell do they do it? I guess if you live there, you get acclimatized. So I guess the question is, and it gave me, I spent a lot of time sat there thinking, why in these countries is the obesity rate so low, and yet in the UK it's so high? Is it the Mediterranean diet? Is it what they're eating? You know, is it that they sit down and have meals together? So let's say you want to lose weight. What as easy as you can to kind of praise it, what should somebody be eating? I'm not saying you say giving them the exact kind of menu, but give me an average meal of somebody who's looking to improve their health and nutrition and to lose weight. What would the meal be, Hilary?
So the foundations of this for me are to be increasing the amounts of fibre in people's diets. I can't tell you the statistic off the top of my head, But in the UK, we are severely deficient in dietary fibre. So that's coming from fruits, vegetables, whole grains, nuts, seeds, all those kind of plant-based foods, really. They're all high in fibre. So for specifically as well for a weight loss client, if they're eating a higher fibre diet, the fibre also keeps them feeling full, which is great. So they're not hungry. It will stabilise their energy and their blood sugar throughout the day. So they're not tempted to snack. They find that they'll reduce their sugar and carb cravings as well. So high fibre is a big one for me. And I would say to all people who are trying to lose weight, half of your plate, whatever meal that's going to be, half of your plate really should be loaded up with fruits, leafy greens, veggies, like nice fresh fruits and veg, really. I know we used to be told, what was it? The 5 a day thing?
Yeah.
Remember, like 5
yes,
a day?
I do. It became 9 a day then, didn't it, for a while?
Well, I say minimum like 10 a day, and even that's not enough. If you can make the fresh fruits and veggies the star of the show instead of the side dish, you're going to be onto a winner. Because I mean, how many times do you look at a plate and it's just meat or fish? There's probably a load of, potatoes or rice, pasta, carbs on there. And then how much fresh fruit and veg have you got on there? It's always the side bit, isn't it?
Is there a hierarchy of fruits and vegetables?
I don't think so.
Are they all, would potatoes be nearer the bottom or like broccoli and cauliflower nearer the top? Is there such a thing?
So we're looking at, the other thing is, so all fruits and veg do contain carbohydrates. So we want to be careful that we're not eating tons and tons and tons of carbs as well. So in terms of things like starchy vegetables, so potatoes or sweet potatoes, things like parsnips, corn, peas, they're all starchy veg that's higher in carbohydrates. We definitely want to keep those to smaller portions. So I'm talking about loading up more on leafy greens, things like spinach, kale, chard, and then all those lovely cruciferous vegetables like we were talking about earlier, broccoli, cauliflower. The thing is, there's endless amounts of fruits and veg that you can eat. And the thing is, they all have different nutrients in them. So if we can eat a wide variety, then that ultimately feeds us a wide variety of nutrients.
What about I was reading Patrick Holford's book, The Nutrition Bible, the other day, and he speaks about, as we know, the soil now where the fruits and veg are growing doesn't contain as much nutrition. So what we're getting now, as opposed to like 1950s and 1960s, there isn't as much nutrition. What about if we cook something? Are we destroying the nutrition? How can we guarantee, as best we can, getting the maximum nutrition from what we're eating in terms of cooking it? Is steaming better?
Again, like there's massive amounts of debate on that, and I was reading quite recently. It was some work that was done by Tim Spector, and he was addressing the fact that we shouldn't cook with oils because oils become carcinogenic at a high heat, and it makes the food lose its nutrients cooking it at a high heat and all this business. So yeah, that's really interesting. We're told that we should steam food, we should stir fry it, we should cook it in oil. I don't think that there's one. Then you've got the whole like raw movement as well, right? Only eat raw food because that's got the highest nutrients in. Every body is different. So some people can tolerate eating raw, less cooked foods better. Some people can't tolerate that. It'll upset the stomach, it upsets the digestive system. So if eating raw fruits and veg doesn't work for you, then don't do it, obviously. Cook them in a way that's digestible for you. I think it's different for every person. I mean, ultimately, it boils down to getting those fruits and veg into your diet, not really
It's
about
as
not
simple
that
as that.
about how you cook them, because you're going to eat different meals through the week. So, you know, if you are eating a nice variety, you might have some form of salad with raw fruits, veg, and leaves in it. Then later on in the week, your vegetables might be in a casserole, in a stew, they might be in a stir fry, it might be a steamed dish. So it's having that variety. I think that's
So
what's really most important, not going, well, I can only steam veg or I can only eat raw veg. It's variety.
you talk about combining fruits and veg in kind of one meal. Would that be right? I mean, I love watermelon in a salad personally, but you know, I think a lot of people, particularly in the UK, you have your meal and then you have your fruit separate. Are you talking about kind of combining them at the same time? Is there any?
No, you can whatever you like. It doesn't have to be at the same meal. It's as long as you're getting that throughout the day. Just like I say, just focusing on making fruits, veg, leafy greens, whatever it's going to be, the star of the show. That's
Yeah.
really what it boils down to. Yeah, I mean, there is
And
research about food. Sorry, about foods being, the combination of food or the order of food that you should eat to, to not spike your blood sugar. There's all that going on as well right now, which is really, really interesting. But again, I just feel like it's, as much as it's interesting, it's just giving people more options and more confusion. And I think
mm,
for me as a practitioner, I just want to cut out the noise for people and to keep it simple. Again, it's options, isn't it? Confusion. What should I do? This person says this. Oh, but I've just heard this.
mm,
The amount of
yeah,
inquiries that I get when I start working with clients, when I'm coaching them, you know, they're just coming with a whole load of confused
yeah,
knowledge. They get to the point where they just say, I just don't know what I'm supposed to eat anymore.
mm,
I just don't know. Can you just tell me what to do? But if it boils down to the simplest thing I can just say, like I said earlier, is just eat real food. Looking at food that is as close to its natural state as possible. So I also like to use the farm and factory analogy. So if you're ever confused about which food you should choose, just say to yourself, well, does it come from the farm or does it come from a factory?
that's great too. Yeah,
It's a really
yeah, yeah, yeah.
simple, if there's ever any confusion, it's like, well, pick that up. Does that look like it's been anywhere near a farm? Probably not.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah. But in terms of also, in terms of like you just said about the soil nutrients and, fruits and veg not being as nutritious as they were many years ago because of mass agriculture. Certainly agree with that. And again, fruits and veg, it's not all created equal. So if you can source seasonal products that you can find in your local area, whether that's a little farm shop or your local greengrocer is normally a really good bet. And you can go in and ask them, or, the market's great where you can buy less expensive fruit and veg. I go to mine every Friday and ask them, say, what's in season? Where does it come from? Prime example, I was at the market the other week and they had strawberries, which were beautiful. So one pack of strawberries were in a little cardboard box, uncovered. The other strawberries were in a plastic container with a plastic lid on. Two different prices, two different products. And I said to the guy on the stand, I said, wait, just out of interest, where are these strawberries coming from? And he said, oh, well, these are from so-and-so's farm, which is fairly close to us. These ones are from Holland.
Yeah.
It's a no-brainer. Why am I going to
Yeah.
buy the strawberries in the plastic that have travelled from Holland when our local farmer is growing these beautiful, tasty, more nutritious strawberries that are grown up there? Okay, they cost like another pound. Admittedly, they cost another pound, but for me, it was just still a no-brainer. So I think if you start to become aware of the food that you're eating, look for food that's in season and see if you can buy it locally. you're onto a winner. You'll get tastier, more flavorful food, and it's also, when it's in season, it's more nutritionally dense.
That's great advice. I think one of the issues I want to touch on in a moment, if I can, is about, and it's a question that one of our lovely members has asked. If we are eating a diet that is predominantly fruits and vegetables, will we get enough protein? Is it a myth? Because there was a period of time when it was like, protein this, protein that. Do we get sufficient protein from our fruits and vegetables?
So yeah, here's a news flash. Plants contain protein. So again, I think people, and I see this a lot in my clinic as well, people are obsessed with protein. I mean, they'll come to me and they'll say, I need to make sure I'm getting X grams of protein. I'm like, why is it so important to measure the grams of protein? We get protein from lots of sources, and it's not just from eating meat and eating fish. Like I said, all plant-based sources. I'm not just talking fruit and veg. I'm talking about things like nutty whole grains, like brown rice, wild rice, and then, all of the beautiful beans, black beans, lentils, chickpeas, kidney beans, butter beans. Like, they're all super high in protein as well. So the other thing, it's not just about loading up on loads of foods from plant-based sources. It is also learning and being mindful about, what you're putting on your plate. Have you got all of the macronutrients there? And it's something that I do work with one-to-one clients, but making sure that you have portions of protein, carbohydrates, loads of fiber, and some healthy fats on there as well. But if you're eating a plant-focused diet that's got lots of variety, that you're including whole grains, you're including beans, lentils, lots of veg, you will get enough protein. You might need to adjust your protein levels if you were, say, into some heavyweight training or, professional athletes, that level. Then yeah, they might need some for muscle recovery and repair. They may need extra. But for just, for the average person, even if you're going to the gym 5 days a week, you really don't need all that extra protein. There's no such thing as really a protein deficiency.
Yeah. So it was more of a marketing ploy, it seems like.
It's another thing where, we're told over the years that it becomes, we have these trends in diets, and again, adding to the confusion. So there's been a lot of focus on low carb, high protein, and then, don't eat any fat. So they've got all these low fat products which are loaded with sugar and additives instead.
Yeah.
And then, gluten's being demonized. Don't eat gluten, it's horrendous for you. Well, are you celiac? Then yeah, you shouldn't be eating gluten, obviously. But now people just think gluten is a bad thing and don't eat it. So what's happened? Well, now we have a whole load of gluten-free products marketed, which have very little nutritional value in them, but there's no gluten. So they must be good for you, right?
Yeah. I've often thought that there needs to be like a PR rebrand of certain products, because we have this kind of, well, if it contains fat, it can't be good for us. But of course, the opposite is often the case, isn't it? That we need those fats. There needs to be a new word for
absolutely
that sort of fat.
I think, there was a lot of low fat nonsense in the 80s. There was a lot of no fat, low fat stuff going on. But again, it's, in terms of fat, there are lots of choices there are lots of options of fat, lots of options of, how we can get fat into our diet, but they're not all healthy fats. So it's choosing the right fats that are recognized by our body as nutrients, that are processed easily, digested easily, that are not going to clog our arteries or do anything else untoward. So yes, it's option and choice. And I think at the end of the day, it's really down to the individuals to, if they want to take control of their health again, then there has to be a knowledge level, because there's definitely a knowledge gap for a lot of people. And I don't think that's the individual's fault. I think it's this noise that's out there, and the options and the choices.
Do you think the diet industry, which is, as we know, a multi-billion-pound industry, has actually added to the misinformation around diet?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think it's, again, I see this a lot of people who have tried various diet plans. They've been to Slimming World, they've done the Weight Watchers, they've done all these horrendous diets. The other thing is, when it comes to dieting, we're told that the only way we can lose weight is to eat less calories and do more exercise. And the only way you can do that is to count the calories, track your calories. Somebody is told that they're on a 1,500 a day calorie diet, right?
Mm.
And that they also have to work out 3 or 4 times a week in order to be in that calorie deficit to lose weight. The problem with these is that when people are tracking calories, there's a big difference between the caloric value of a nutritious whole food item, say whether that's an apple or it's brown rice or it's raw nuts and seeds, or it's a bunch of grapes. You can have 100 calories worth of that, which is highly nutritious, really good for you, full of fiber, full of antioxidants. And then you could say, okay, well, if I'm allowed 100 calories, well, that drink's 100 calories, so I could have that. Or I could actually have those crisps because they're low fat and they're only 80 calories, so I could have those and I could have something else. So you're nutritionally starved eating those foods, but you're getting the calories right.
Yeah.
So you can still lose weight eating rubbish, basically. So you can lose weight, but you're going to be nutritionally deprived.
Yeah. Yeah.
What happens at the end of it,
In terms of one of our app users has asked program users, what foods are good for energy? Now we're all, I don't know if it's just me, we all feel like we're have an energy deficit, if you've got young kids. Are there any particular foods that are particularly good for energy, that if you just need that boost?
It's really, for me, it's not about one particular food. It's about getting your nutritional balance right. And it's about what you eat through the day that stabilizes your blood sugar and your energy. That's really what it's about. It's not like, here's one food and that's going to boost your energy. It's doing the whole thing. It's making sure that on a daily basis, you're eating, loads of fiber, proteins, carbs, healthy fats, and you're getting those in a nutritionally balanced way in a meal. Again, individuals function on a very different level, and it really, you've got to do something that also feels right to you. Because I work with clients who, they don't eat anything, they don't have anything apart from coffee until lunchtime. That's their choice. But then they eat 2 really good meals and they're okay on that.
Yeah.
But then you have some people who need to eat 3 meals a day, and they might need to snack in between to keep their energy levels up. Again, it's going to depend on your output. Do you have a sedentary job? Are you sat at a desk all day? Are you in the car, driving to work, dropping the kids off, sitting at a desk all day, getting back in the car, driving back home, and then you sat on the sofa all night? That person doesn't need as much calories.
Yeah.
They don't. They need nutrients, but they certainly don't need as many calories as somebody who has got a very active job. Say they're outside. Say they've got a big active job. Maybe they're a landscaper, or I don't know, they're in construction, or they're working with animals. I don't know. Lots of things. Maybe they're a personal trainer.
Or children.
Or children running around after kids.
I guess.
Again, it boils down to the individual's needs, to their
Okay.
lifestyle, to what they've got going on to fuel them through the day. But again, if you can eat more nutritious foods, if you can get those plant focused foods into your diet on a daily basis, your energy will start to stabilize. You will feel better very, very quickly by just making a few really easy swaps.
I guess the $1 million question is literally $1 million. We are in a kind of a time of economic turbulence. There isn't as much money around for people. How can we eat healthily but keep the costs down? Because, of course, convenience foods traditionally are cheaper. I don't know if there's any research on this. Kind of the perception is that they're cheaper. How can we achieve maximum nutrition and optimize our health whilst keeping the costs down? Because you know, eating fresh fruits and vegetables, fantastic. But you've got to shop more frequently if you've got to keep the high nutrition levels and keep the costs down. Is there any tips, any secrets to being able to do that?
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I mean, obviously, we're in a time where food costs have gone through the roof amongst, well, the entire cost of living in the UK at the minute, we know is absolutely ridiculous. And I appreciate it's hard for people, it's hard for everybody. In terms of nutritious value and in terms of cost in buying things, you don't have to be constantly going out and buying fresh. Because I think that's unobtainable for a lot of people. It's okay to have frozen veg and frozen fruits. Absolutely okay. The good thing about frozen is that they flash freeze it and they lock in the nutrients when that fruit or veg is at the peak. It's at peak harvest time. So actually freezing is a really good way to lock in nutrients. And, you can buy frozen fruits and veggie mixes with nothing else in them. And you can buy those in bulk. There's really good supermarket deals on at the minute as well. When you're looking at the kind of bigger, low-cost supermarkets like Lidl is great, actually. They do a really good job there, I think. They've got loads of stuff in the freezer. The other thing that you can buy that's I think really pretty low cost is canned beans, canned chickpeas, canned lentils, canned tomatoes to put in foods. Yes, it's in a can, but it's not really being processed. It's just been put in a can. So yes, it's on a shelf, but there's nothing in there apart from water. It's just containing it. So those foods are really good. Things like you could look at buying things in bulk, like whole grains, brown rice is a great one. And then things that fill you up. Sweet potatoes are the base of a really good meal. Nothing wrong with a good jacket potato meal either. That's great.
I recently had purple sweet potato. So
Nice.
I shot a video about the blue zones.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen any of the programs about the blue zones, they are areas, and there are 5 areas in the world where people have the longest, live the longest, longevity. Loma Linda, California, one in Greece, Sardinia, one of the islands. I just remember them all at the time.
The other one, is it Japan? I think.
Oh, it's Okinawa. And one of the ingredients, one of the 2 things that stood out about Okinawa is the principle of harahachi bu. So before any meal, the Okinawans say the word harahachi bu, which is translated as like 80%. So they will eat to 80% full. And one of the vegetables that they grow, they pick there is this purple sweet potato. And I was desperate to try it, and I had it in M&S. And it was truly delicious. Not that easy. I mean, it's great they got it in M&S. I hadn't seen it anywhere else. But if you ever get a chance to try purple sweet potato, highly nutritious and a real vehicle for longevity. The Okinawans live the longest amongst the world.
Mm.
Well, I know we're running out of time, but a question that has been asked on the group is about liquids, about water. Hilary, what about nutrition and water in terms of, is it okay to swap water for a cup of tea, for orange juice, squash? Hydration. What's
Well, again, lots of confusion about this. It's really important for you to stay adequately hydrated throughout the day. Not only does it help your body flush out toxins, it helps your digestive system work properly, and also our brains are made up predominantly of water, so is our body. So really, really important that we're getting that. We're told that we're supposed to have 6 to 8 glasses a day. Again, it's different for other people. It depends on your output. If you were training hard, if you were, doing a lot of heavy working out, you're going to drink more, obviously. But yeah, super, super important. For me, if I'm working with clients, plain old water can be really boring. So let's just make that more appealing. Get some lemon slices, get some orange slices in there, crush some berries into your water, put some mint in it, some cucumber. There's all kinds of things you can do to flavour your water to make it more appealing. And I think also having the visual cue to drink it. So if you are at work all day, sat at a desk, take a big thing of your nice flavoured water with you and have it on your desk so it's there all the time. Take your water with you when you are leaving home. Have it in the car. So you've always got that visual cue to remind you to keep drinking. Don't wait until you're really thirsty to have a drink. Coffee and tea, caffeinated beverages, energy drinks, pop, squash, that's really not counting for me because there's just so many additives. I mean, caffeine's great, but it's not hydrating you, it's actually dehydrating you. So we're looking at decaffeinated beverages. So if you can make some swaps for decaf herbal teas are great and really refreshing. There's so many that you can try and they're really lovely. The one that I like most is just fresh slices of ginger and lemon, just steeped in hot water. Yeah, there's loads of good stuff in there as well. So yeah, infused waters are great. Again, just keep it as close to nature as you possibly can. If it's in a can or a bottle with loads of colours, flavourings, sugars, just stay away from it. It's okay to have it now and again. I'm not saying never drink or eat these things, but just be really mindful of what you are putting into your body, that's all.
Yeah. I kind of think that phrase there kind of sums up the whole podcast is, keep it as close to nature as you possibly can. I love what you said about, is it farm or factory? That I think that's gold dust. Hilary, I'm aware of our time today. I think that's been so useful, and I think for me it's brought up far more questions because I've really only scratched the surface.
Yeah.
I want to thank you for your time today. I'm going to be posting on this group, and if people have questions, maybe we can get back together and answer those questions on another podcast.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that would be great. And honestly, I can talk for hours about this.
And see, your passion certainly comes across. So thank you so much today, Hilary. I've included a link to Hilary's website below. Reach out to her. She's does some great stuff and has some great stories, which I haven't even touched on today. Thank you so much for your time. That's been of great value to a lot of people. And I'll speak soon. Take care.